Welcome. Hi, everyone. Oh, my goodness, it's so nice to look out on this room. I think, like many of you, I haven't been to an event this huge in over 2 years. Wow. Hello. If you don't know me, I am Kasdin. I am the board chair of Rachel's Network, and which is a vibrant community of women funders. And we have been waiting for this moment for 2 years. And in fact, this dress, I bought it 2 years ago. Haven't had a chance to wear it since. And it still fits. So it feels cathartic to gather again and to rejoice and feel hopeful. We, of course, do want to take a moment to remember and honor those we've lost during this time. And we know that many lives have been disrupted. By rejoining with all of you, I feel renewed by connections with new people and old friends, and of course, by the outstanding recipients of our Catalyst Award thus far.
So for our guests and those of you who are new to Rachel's Network, first let me introduce myself. I'm Fern Shepard. I'm the president of Rachel's Network, and I want you to start eating, okay? Because we've got a big night ahead, so don't worry about clicking and all of that. That's just fine. Enjoy your salads. The Catalyst Award was conceived in 2016 to 2018 and then launched in 2019 as a way to support and honor and recognize the many women of color that we know are powering environmental change with undersized funding and recognition.
Our aspiration back in 2019 was to have granted $150,000 to 15 awards by this point, 5 recipients each year. You can see on the screen, well, no, you can't see it anymore. There it is. They are. You can see on the screen that we have far exceeded that aspiration. Since the awards, Since the award's inception, we've granted $500,000 to 75 individuals, including finalists and semifinalists. There is simply an abundance of creativity, vision, and excellence in our movement, and tonight is about celebrating that. I want to take a moment to thank the funders of our program who have amplified our program's impact over the years, and to those who have recommitted their support for our future.
So we have a terrific evening ahead of us, and you can see the program in your printed program at your seats. You can read about our awardees, our vendors, our performers, who you heard a little bit of, but you're going to hear more of, Heather May and Chris Matthews, and our MC, Melanie Allen. This event has been planned by our phenomenal staff 2 years ago. And I want to take a moment to thank them for the care that they have taken to ensure that our community, which is all of you, have a welcoming, courageous, and nourishing space to fulfill our mission. Please join me in giving our gratitude.
So I would like to now introduce our esteemed MC for the evening, Melanie Allen, co-director of the Hive Fund for Climate and Gender Justice. Our members actually first met Melanie in Durham 3 years ago as she was about to launch the Hive Fund with co-director Aaron Rodgers. The fund has been a bold and generous leader in the environmental and gender justice movement, setting higher and higher standards for philanthropy to make an indelible difference at this crucial moment. The Hive Fund and Rachel's Network share a vision of a healthy, thriving world which can only be possible if everyone in our movement is thriving and supported. It is truly a heartfelt honor for her to be here this evening to celebrate with us. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage.
Good evening. Good evening. Okay, I know that you all have seen each other, but you all don't have my vantage point, and I just want to let you all know, in case you did not know, that you all look good. I'm so excited to be here with you all this evening as we come to the end of Women's History Month and also enter April, the month that we celebrate the environment, the earth, and Earth Day. It just truly is an honor to be here with you all and to be in person. I've missed this. I don't know if you all are like me. I often joke that I am both solar-powered and people-powered. And so I'm like a crystal. I recharge with good energy. And so I just thank you all for bringing the good energy tonight. And I hope that you all are enjoying it as much as I am. I want to offer my deep, deep gratitude to Fern and Kef for your leadership and for that wonderful introduction. I truly, truly appreciate it. And to the staff for the invitation to join you all tonight. As was mentioned earlier, my formal introduction to Rachel's Network was in the very, very early days of the Hive Fund. I think maybe I had been on for a month when I joined you all in Durham. And again, it was like being in this room, the good energy was that power, almost the battery pack that let me know that I carried to my co-director, Aaron, to say, this is something we can do. There are powerful people who come together in community, who are committed to moving resources in support of incredible leaders. And we're just so honored to be in connection with Rachel's Network and to be a part of that extended community that is really, really dedicating resources, but also shining light on incredible leaders like the Catalyst Award winners tonight. And so I do want to take a moment while we're here to honor so many people that helped to make tonight possible. I heard that we have members of our DC environmental community who were the visionaries, honestly, of this award, who helped to envision what it could be, but also who helped to make really, really difficult decisions when they had to select winners. So if you are part of that community or have played that role, can you wave your hand so that we can honor you tonight? Wave it high, don't be shy. Thank you all so much for that incredible, incredible work. That was the seed, and without the seed, we would not be here celebrating the harvest. And so, we thank you. As we said, the last time that I was together was in Durham, North Carolina, which is the place that I call home. And that was, I think, one of the last gatherings for this amazing community. And that was back in 2019. So as we know, a lot has changed since then. The world has changed. The way that we connect and communicate has changed. What it means to be present with each other has changed. Some of us have come deeper into an understanding of racism and invested more heavily in the righteous work of combating white supremacy and building racial justice. But I'm really, really excited that one thing remains the same, and that's the incredible and steadfast commitment of this community to moving money in support of a healthier, safer, and more just world. And so if you're a part of this Rachel's Network community, I want you all to give yourselves a hand, because we're definitely here to celebrate our awardees. We're also celebrating you, because it wouldn't be possible without your steadfast commitment. So. As I was preparing for this evening, I found myself visiting some of my favorite words from Rachel Carson. And so she said, the human race is challenged more than ever before to demonstrate our mastery not over nature, but of ourselves. And though those words were written long ago, it felt like she could have been talking about this moment right now. I wanted to just commend everyone in this room who deepened your commitment to supporting the environment and environmental justice, because really we're here because everyone in this room has decided in difficult times to rise to the challenge. And, you know, when things came that we didn't expect, when we were knocked off balance, decided to steady ourselves and rise again. And so we're here to celebrate that story. It's been maybe lived out in our homes or across the Zoom or in our offices, but it is something that we've lived and we've shared together. And so just really, really honored that in this spirit of Rachel Carson and the words that she wrote long ago, to be here celebrating those who rise, who rise. So as was mentioned earlier, my name is Melanie Allen, and alongside my co-director and partner in purpose, Aaron Rogers, I'm one of the founding co-directors of the Hive Fund for Climate and Gender Justice. And we are what we call a specialized regranting intermediary, or in like regular people's terms, we raise money and we make grants to people that are doing amazing and incredible work. It is the honor of my life. And we started this work in September of 2019 and have really walked a path that has been alongside the growth of the Catalyst Awards. And so again, it's such an honor to be here tonight. I'll say just a few words about the work that we do because it is so intimately connected with the work of Rachel's network and the work that folks at the Catalyst Award winners are doing as well. Again, we raise money, we make grants, and we specifically make grants to organizations that are led by people who have historically been left out of philanthropic funding. We make grants primarily to women of color-led organizations in the South. When we look at the data, what we know is that women get less than 5% of philanthropic data, or women-led organizations get less than 5% of philanthropic dollars that are moving in the environmental community. We know that women of color get less than 2% of that. But we also know that they're most likely to live close to environmental hazards, close to things that are causing us environmental harm. And through this work that I do, one of the things that I knew, but I now know for sure, is that they have brilliant ideas, brilliant, well-thought-out strategies of how we can intervene and really solve our environmental problems. And, you know, I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about what it looks like to do that work as a funder who has come from traditional philanthropy and is now in this disruptive space where we're asking questions about why we're giving in the way that we've always given and what we can do differently. I'll say the Hive Fund, we say, and this is honoring Ashley Woodard Henderson at the Highlander Center. I don't know if you all know her, but if you don't, she's a leader you should know. But we fund people like we want them to win. And what that means is that first we lead with trust. I live in North Carolina, I'm from North Carolina, I'm from this region, and deeply committed to resourcing this part of the world, the southern region of the United States, that gets less funding than any other region. But even though I live here, I've worked here, I've funded here, there's no way that I can know the work and what it's gonna take to move the work forward better than the leaders who are doing this work day in and day out. And so we lead with trust. We give general operating support grants. We make at least 3-year commitments, general operating 3-year commitments. And then we know that particularly leaders, women of color leaders, have been funded in ways that we call just pennies on the dollar. They've been expected to move mountains and perform miracles with duct tape and a number 2 pencil. And so we start our grant making around the $50,000 a year mark, and for us that is the floor because we know that so many people have been working honestly for decades at great, great cost to themselves. We want to be able to pay people to do this work because we know that this is difficult work. This is work that takes a long-term commitment. We are asking folks to literally battle some of the best funded industries in the history of the world. And that's gonna take more than a $50,000 grant. And so that is just a little bit about the approach of our funding at the Hive Fund. We started in 2019. I remember we had an event in California. I had the honor of introducing our fund alongside Mary Robinson, former president of Ireland. But when I was there, I said, okay, by 2025, we want to have moved $20 million. And someone in the crowd said, add a zero. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's scary, but okay. But I'm excited to stand here before you and tell you that in 2.5 years, it is, almost April, I guess March of 2022, that we've been able to support 56 organizations to the tune of $23 million, and we are just getting started. I will also tell you that I've been on the other side of that number. That number still feels insane to me because I remember having to fight for every penny when I was raising money on the other side of that grant. But I'm also telling you that because there's a shift in this world right now. Money is moving, people are understanding, people are seeing that the leadership of those who are closest to the problems is what are gonna get us to the solutions. And so I applaud you all for being our partners in this work. And I just wanna take a moment again to honor the catalyst because the numbers that we throw out are nothing because they are all in service to the work that people are leading on the ground. And so with that, I just want to ask you all to look around, to know that this room is filled with brilliance and that so many of us have not had the opportunity to be in a room where we can meet someone by happenstance, to be in a room where we can strike up a conversation and it can literally change what's possible in your life. And so I do hope that you take the time to get to know the folks at your table, that you take the time to follow up with the people that you met when we were, raising a glass at the reception before, but that you make these connections because these are some of the most interesting people during some of the most life-saving work. It often goes unrecognized, but we have the privilege and the honor today to recognize each other for all that we're bringing to this work and this movement. So again, I want to thank you. And with that, I'm going to welcome Chris Matthews and Heather May back to the stage to perform.
I am so fired up. Ooh, this room. Well, I just want to say it's such an honor to be with you all tonight. This first song that we're going to sing, there are parts of this song that are, thankfully, a lot less relevant than they were when I wrote them, and I am thrilled about that. But other parts of it feel even more so I think this is a good place to start. Sitting alone in this hotel room, TV on, tuned into the news. It's another day here in paradise. Mass shootings, deportations, wildfires. Meanwhile, Mr. Make America Great is busy tweeting his worst and spreading more hate. While some of us are so poor they can't afford shoes on their feet, while some other sweet baby starves to death in their sleep. See us, we are dreamers. Can you feel us? We are believers. We are more than keyboard warriors. We are the change makers. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Somewhere in 100 no-name towns are 1 million lives being turned upside down. And you know this is the only home those kids have ever known. Refugees from wars and regimes being overthrown. Meanwhile, too many of these United States ignore the words Lady Liberty spake. Doors being kicked down in the dead of the night. No more sanctuary cities. How's that for religious right? Can you see us? We are dreamers. Can you feel us? We are believers. We are more than keyboard warriors. We are the change makers. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And if there's anyone out there who questions what America at its very best will feel like now, remember 66 million united in love, steadfastly indivisible across countless cities and towns. Oh, the bluest wave crashing from shore to shore. And all those hate has no home here. Signs on all those doors. We know who we are like we know how to breathe. Won't you sing it with me? Sing it with me, please. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Give me the wretched refuse of your teeming shores and these, the homeless, the tempest tossed to me. Sing it. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Give me the wretched refuse of your teeming shores and these, the homeless, the tempest tossed to me. Oh, can you see us? We are dreamers. Can you feel us? We are believers. And we are more than keyboard warriors. We are the change makers. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Can't take this tornado in my brain. Giving up on crying. Can't shake this wild hurricane. I'm through with trying. 'Cause I've been beaten, yeah. I've been bruised. And I've been ripped to shreds, hell. I've been used. I need healing. I'm tired of taking these hits. Got a new song to sing, it goes like this. I may be broken, but my feet are still on the ground. And if I give up, this queen will never be crowned. Even under ashes, I have got glory. And I'm the hero in my own story. Ooh. Under firelight, you give and take below. Get me out, I'm begging. Under spotlight, you give one hell of a show. Oh, but out of this gracious cage I'm breaking. 'Cause I've been beaten, yeah. I've been bruised. I've been ripped to shreds, hell. I've been used. I need healing. I'm tired of taking these hits. Got a new song to sing, it goes like this. I may be broken, but my feet are still on the ground. And if I give up, this queen will never be crowned. Even under ashes, I have got glory. And I'm the hero in my own story. But now my heart is shaking. I can feel the light, but my world is breaking. I'm ready to fight with this paper and pen. I'll write my own happy ending. I'm the hero here. I'm the hero. Sing this here. I'm the hero here. I'm the hero here. I'm the hero. Yeah, here. I'm the hero here. I'm the hero here. I'm the hero. Hey. ashes, I have got glory. And I'm the hero in my own story. I'm not broken, my feet are still on the ground. And if I get up, this queen will never be crowned. Even under ashes, I've got glory. And I'm the hero in my own story. Hello! Hello, Rachel's Network. I'm Heather May. This is Chris Matthews. Let us just tell you how very deeply honored we are to be. We chose these two songs intentionally. We chose Changemakers, which is Chris's song. We chose Hero, which is my song, because we are social justice songwriters. This is what we do. It is like what you do, but we, have glitter boots and guitars in our hands. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Shop small. I bought it at a boutique. So we're so deeply honored. We want to say a big thank you to everybody here at Rachel's Network. Please give it up for all the hands, the invisible hands who have been doing this.
The song that we want to do for you now, this is called Cancel Culture.
Oh, yeah. Y'all get ready.
There's a whole lot in our culture I'd cancel if I could. Instead of banning books, I'd ban gerrymandering for good. The rich would feed the poor like the good Lord said they should. And every child, without exception, would feel loved and understood. No more whitewashing our history when the truth will set us free. No more watching corporate profits soar while people sink into poverty. No more telling kids they're flawed because you think that your God would. There's a whole lot in our culture I'd cancel if I could. There's a whole lot in our culture we should cancel right away. Instead of banning saying gay, we should ban racist holidays. Teachers should get to teach without worrying about their pay, or if they'll have an active shooter that they'll have to keep at bay. No more kids in bulletproof backpacks. It's a school, not a war. No more pretending that machine guns are what the Second Amendment was for. No more doing nothing because it's easier most days. Yeah, there's a whole lot in our culture should cancel right away. There's a whole lot in our culture we could cancel if we tried. Instead of banning abortions, we could trust women to decide. Every size and shape of body could be normalized, and every type of mental illness could finally be destigmatized. No more squeezing and contorting into boxes we don't fit. No more saying that we're fine when we're not, but scared to admit it. No more telling little boys it's better not to cry. If there's a whole lot in our culture we could cancel if we tried. We've been marching in these streets, singing we shall overcome, praying all the world would give up all their bombs and all their guns. I just want peace of every kind for the whole world tonight, and to believe that Martin was right. We can drive out the darkness with the light. Drive out the darkness. We can drive out the darkness with the light. Drive out the darkness. Drive out the darkness. We can drive out the darkness with the light. Drive out the darkness. Drive out the darkness. We can drive out the darkness with the light.
Thank you so much. We will be back.
Thank you, Chris and Heather. Woohoo! So they're going to be back. We're not done with them. They're going to be back. But it's dinner time now. Please eat, enjoy your conversations. At 8:10, we're going to start the real part of the program with hearing from our Catalyst awardees. So enjoy, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, hello, hello, hello. If you can hear my voice, clap once. If you can hear my voice, clap twice. If you can hear my voice, clap 3 times. All right, I find that taking it back to elementary school is always an effective way to get the crowd together. I hope that you all have had as good a time as I have getting to know the folks at your table. If you met someone new, raise your hand. All right. Oh, okay, that's almost everyone. If you did not raise your hand or weren't quick enough, then make sure that you meet someone new before the night is over. Well, I hope you all have enjoyed your dinner. Can we get a round of applause for the chef, the kitchen staff? Haven't they done an excellent job? We will soon hear from our remarkable award winners with a break about halfway through for another amazing performance from Chris and Heather. Can we give them a round of applause? I was like, you make me want to stomp my feet while I'm up here, but I will leave it to the professionals. I'll leave it to you all. But before I introduce the recipients, we do want to honor and recognize those who are not in the room today. 11 awardees could not attend in person, and I want to just share a few words about them and with them. And at the end of my list, I invite you to join me in a hearty round of applause so that they can feel our love wherever they may be. We'll be recording this and we'll share it with them so they'll be able to see it back and see the love that you all shared in this room and the way that you all honored them. So, okay, I'm going to read all the names. Then we're going to clap. Got it? All right. Thank you, Alana Hurley, for protecting the health and livelihood of Bristol Bay and the communities that live in harmony with it. Thank you for making self-determination a reality for Alaska Natives. Thank you, Christine Nieves Rodriguez, for envisioning regenerative ways we can connect, build, and be resilient together. Wishing you wellness as you welcome your new daughter into the world. Thank you, Heather McTeer-Toney, for rallying and educating the public on the urgency of our climate crisis with your warmth, honesty, and optimism. Thank you, Huda Alkaf, for elevating faith into ecology, climate, and energy justice, and water equity, and for being a leader of service. Thank you, Juliana Pino, for demystifying energy policy for communities most impacted and for ensuring these policies are humanizing at their core. Thank you, Leah Penniman, for feeding and nourishing people and for your visionary work in reparations and food and land justice. Thank you for the exponential way you build power and strength for Black and brown farmers. Thank you, Mai Nadine Nguyen, for tackling interconnected issues in our food systems, land rematriation for indigenous tribes, access for farmers of color, crop biodiversity, and more. May you and Leah have a bountiful season. Thank you, Maria Gallegos Herrera, for ensuring people have the right to clean water and the pathways to speak and advocate for themselves. Your quiet voice and leadership inspires so many in our community. Thank you, Tara Hauska, for fighting fossil fuel companies with fury born from love. You help protect waterways, native lands, and our chance at a thriving future. Like Christine, we wish you wellness as you welcome your new daughter into this world. And finally, thank you, Grandmother Viola Wagi, for being a strong voice for your Yupik community and for holding the U.S. military accountable for the impacts of toxic contamination on human and planetary health. Please join me in giving them a round of gratitude, love, and applause. Thank you all, and thanks to our honorees who could not be with us today. I also invite you to read their bios in your printed program if you have not done so already. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. So we will begin to hear acknowledgements from our awardees. First, we will hear from Amy Bowers-Cordalis, then Dr. Nataki Osborne Jelks, then Annel Hernandez. After that, we'll hear from Jennifer Nguyen Moore, then Doria Robinson, and then we will hear from Jessica Guadalupe Tovar. So without any further ado, Amy Bowers-Cordalis, the stage is yours.
Well, Ayakui, Neknau, Amy Cordalis, Nuwak Rekwa, Numite Wawak Lao. Good evening. You all are so gorgeous from this standpoint. Wow. It's a real pleasure and an honor to be here with all of you, and it's a long time coming. I am an award recipient from 2020, and I remember receiving the news that I had been awarded the award and was overwhelmed with joy. I was also very pregnant, and and it was also like the heart of COVID. And I just remember thinking, oh, I would just love to be in the room with these women and with these folks who have made this happen. And so I feel like I've been waiting for this day for 2 years now, and it's been worth every day of the wait and the anticipation, and you all have exceeded my expectations, and just the joy is deep. So thank you. I want to thank all the staff, and I want to thank all the folks who support this. So I am Yurok. Yurok is an indigenous nation in Northern California. Yeah, all right, woo-woo. And we are salmon people. Our Aboriginal territory is in what is now known as, California, Redwood National Park area. My village is Rekwa. We are right at the mouth of the Klamath River. The Klamath River used to be the third largest salmon producing river in the whole lower 48, and my family for generations has benefited from that. So I'm a lawyer. I represent the Yurok tribe on all things Klamath River restoration. I went to go work for the Native American Rights Fund after law school, and then went in-house and was the tribe's general counsel for a very long time. And then transitioned recently to a new role. The council had asked me to focus my work on river restoration. And so I started a nonprofit to help fundraise for that work and have been focusing on that ever since. It's been a huge honor and really quite a unique moment in time, right? We are on the verge of removing 4 dams on the Klamath River, which will be the largest dam removal project in history. We are fighting every day for in-stream flows to support fish, to support, ecology. We declared personhood rights for the river. First river in North America to have personhood rights. And I guess what I want to acknowledge is the power of this room, the power of Rachel's network. I come from a long line of Yurok advocates, people who, were arrested, were beaten, were, everything under the sun, racial discrimination, everything. And they did that just to protect, Yurok rights. And I continue that work today, but how different my experience is. Here I am in front of you all, and I'm receiving an award for essentially doing the same things my ancestors had fought to do since white people came to Yurok country, and they were prosecuted. They were violently beaten for that. So in acknowledgement of that, I just want us all to sit in this moment of power and acknowledge all of the change that we have made in a short amount of time, in owning our power and sort of shifting that tide, right? For a person like me to be up here is really, something else. So one other thing, and I'll wrap up, and I know I'm way over, 3 minutes goes way too fast, but also Rachel's network. So one of the most influential academic experiences I ever had in college was reading Silent Springs. Holy smokes, I read that book and I thought, here is something that is consistent with my own Yurok culture. This idea that everything's connected, right? We're all a part of nature, and the way we're interacting with nature is harmful, right? And so to be here now, receiving an award from the Rachel's Network is just really full circle and is a huge just honor. So I love and adore all of you. I wish we could spend more time together, and I hope to stay in touch with all of you, and thank you so much.
Good evening. I'd like to start by thanking God, who is the source of my strength. I want to thank my parents, who were my first and are my most consistent champions. Next, my husband, who rivals my parents in terms of being my most consistent supporter, and he's here tonight. He definitely rivals my parents with being my most consistent, but he couldn't have been my first because he hasn't known me quite as long as they have. I also want to thank my son, my 12-year-old son, Kenyatta, in his absence, who I oftentimes draft to share in the work with me in our community. I'm so thankful for his positive attitude about it. And I also want to thank the hundreds, thousands of Black women environmental justice leaders on whose shoulders I stand. Many of these women are nameless and faceless to our society, but I know them for their behind the scenes and front of the picket line activism, for their sustaining force, and their uncanny ability to cause the dust of change to rise. And they do it with little and often no resources. Collectively, we are growing a cleaner, greener, healthier, more sustainable, and just planet. We're doing this in our communities, and I'm so thankful to them. And thankful to my community members who compel me to join in this work, who inspire me to keep going, and who hold me accountable at every turn. I'm also thankful to my students at Spelman College, the next generation of Black environmental leaders who I have the privilege of helping to shape and to train and to teach and to learn from on a daily basis. I'd like to thank Rachel's Network for elevating the work of women of color environmental leaders and giving us this space and this opportunity this weekend and everything that being a part of this network gives and brings to all of us. And I'd like to end with a tribute to my other awardees by sharing a poem by Alice Walker called Calling All Grandmothers. And this poem is featured in All We Can Save, an anthology of powerful women's voices on climate action. And this poem says, "We have to live differently or we will die in the same old ways." Therefore, I call on all grandmothers everywhere on the planet to rise and take your place in the leadership of the world. Come out of the kitchen, out of the fields, out of the beauty parlors, out of the television. Step forward and assume the role for which you were created, to lead humanity to health, happiness, and sanity. I call on all the grandmothers of the earth and every person who possesses the grandmother spirit of respect for life and protection of the young to rise and lead. The life of our species depends on it. And I call on all men of the earth to gracefully and gratefully stand aside and let us do so. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am so happy to be here tonight and to see all of your beautiful faces. First, I would like to thank all of the powerful women in my life, from my mother, who taught me about political activism, to my older sister, who taught me perseverance and how to navigate a city like New York City, to all my cousins and my friends that keep me rooted and bring me joy, to all the women mentors who have guided me as I worked to find my passion, to find my power, my commitment to public service, and my ability to drive policy change and realize my vision for environmental justice. And to my grandmother, who raised 12 children in the mountains of Dominican Republic and moved to New York City with almost nothing, and somehow created the foundation and the home that so many of us in my family needed to flourish despite everything. And now, Rachel's network is the next phase of all of these powerful women that have helped me throughout my life and have given all of these amazing opportunities. I feel very blessed to be able to grow with this wonderful collective of women. Almost 10 years ago, Hurricane Sandy radicalized me. Managing an emergency shelter at my public high school showed me the real vulnerabilities and rampant inequities in New York City. I left my job at the mayor's office to go back to school and study environmental policy. Last September, I got a text warning me about the remnants of Hurricane Ida about to hit us in New York City. Within an hour, the news and social media was filled with videos of unprecedented flooding across our streets, our subways, our homes. To me, this was just another pivotal moment like Hurricane Sandy, highlighting the vulnerabilities in a way that shocked everyone, that was unexpected, and that we were not prepared for. These hurricanes, these flash floods, and stormwater vulnerabilities are more real than ever. And yet, fossil fuel utilities are building a natural gas pipeline a few blocks from my apartment in my neighborhood, despite strong community opposition. I have so much hope that we can keep doing this. That's why I do this. That's why I keep going. From nature-based solutions to clean renewable energy to sustainable waste management, there is so much room to grow, so much more that we can do, so many jobs that we can create, and really just build the future that we want. I'm so proud to have been part of the coalition that helped pass the New York State Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. Just last year, this bill helped us stop 2 power plants in New York City and mandated investments for our communities. And that's even influencing federal policy today, which is really exciting. I feel so blessed to have been able to work for the New York City Environmental Justice Alliance, to support El Puente for Peace and Justice in Brooklyn, the Point CDC in the Bronx, and BK Rot right in my neighborhood. Environmental justice leaders have fought for decades in New York City, and that paved the way for me and the next generation of EJ leaders to keep pushing, to keep fighting, to keep creating, to keep visioning, to keep building. One of my mentors taught me that if you don't have a seat at the table, you need to build a new table. So thank you to Rachel's network, and I look forward to building so many more tables with all of you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Just want to start out and give gratitude to two people in my life. My parents, my husband, Kendrick, who's filming me. Thanks, honey. My daughter, Luna, the entire team at Rachel's Network, the funders, and all the environmental justice warriors that are fighting alongside me. Everyone that has got me to this point. This road hasn't been easy, but it's a necessary path to provide us with our basic needs and to demand for respect and integrity. And you know, that's just a start. So I want to use the rest of my time to recite a poem from Amanda Gorman from her collections of poems, Call Us What We Carry. This poem is called Earth Eyes. What have we done? Currently, our jaw is clamped down, our shoulders nailed to the ears, bone braced for brutal battle. By think of the next generation, we mean every day this very ground spoils beneath us, for we are bringing to all the ends of the earth the end of all the earth. Please believe us when we say, too, ache to imagine something new. Reparation lies not in the land we own, but the very land we owe. The soil and toil we thieved in from the start. Nothing is grander some tree than this. Water, drinkable. Air, breathable. Birds, built and blurred on a breeze. Trees heaving huge sighs into the heavens. Our children, giggling and gilding in grass. Earnest for the first time, we must earn this turned earth back. Now we are begged to save it. We screech with kids who must fix the world because braving it is no longer enough. The youth will save us, they say, but even that is its own release. Our short lives now aimed at the oily-headed monsters that reared their teeth before we even gave our first wet croak. Generations of the past order be our recruits, not our rescues. Oh, how we want our parents red and restless, as wild and dying for a difference as we are. Thank you.
Of course, I thought I had one more person. It is kind of profound being up here on stage, looking at everyone out there. I just wanted to start by remembering not to forget to say thank you to my partner, Najari Smith, who traveled with me to celebrate me. Before he came into my life, I did a lot of this, most of this, alone. I was a single mom of twins as well. Woo, twin moms, who are 19 now. And I just want to give thanks for them because they taught me what it meant to live. And I really want to give thanks to the Rachel's Network because when I remember sitting down to write the grant and thinking to myself, you know, I'm on my last leg, you know, like I'm so burnt. And I've been kind of like pulling out this future that we need from like the very cells of my body, the very like everything that I am. And I felt like I was at the point where there was like nothing left, you know? And I was like kind of hoping, praying that there would be some relief so I could keep going, you know? And in many ways, this award and the release that it allowed me personally allowed me to keep dreaming and reflect on things like, I don't thank my mom enough. You know, I often think of my grandfather because he was so powerful, and the elders and the whole church thing where we had the branch and blah, blah, blah. And I don't think about the woman who struggled with me day in and day out and was literally the one who taught me to see what is possible when it wasn't there. So Urban Tilth, my work in California, we transform vacant lots into thriving farms. From trash heaps with dumped piles of crap, and we'll literally stand in one of these places and we'll say, that's an edible forest. And everybody will look at us like, you're crazy, you know? And then 7 years later, it'll be an edible forest. 7 years. My mom is the one who taught me to hold the vision that long and that hard and keep pushing and keep working away, keep learning, keep including other people. So I just wanted to say thank you. I also wanted to just end with this note that growing up in a thin slime community, one of the largest emitters of greenhouse gases in the state of California, 5 blocks from my bedroom window, I always felt like it was a huge burden when I learned what it was. But now I want to invite everyone who is in a place, who grew up, who has roots in a place like that, in one of those fence line communities, to actually think of it as a responsibility and an honor, to actually be that frontline warrior, to actually demand, to say, no, even if we can, we're not gonna move away. We're gonna actually stand here in your face and say, this shit has to stop, because we don't have another planet. We don't have another planet. And all of us on the front lines need to stop, stand, and say, no, we deserve clean land. We deserve clean water. And if we stop it here, we stop it everywhere. Thank you.
Okay, I have to admit I had a lot of wine. And this is the first time I ever had to talk to so many people after having so much wine. Oh my gosh. But first of all, I want to thank the Rachel's Network. This has been so much fun and really just unbelievable. And the staff who did so much work, Ariana, Claire, Jamie, Fern, thank you so much. This is just a huge, huge honor. You know, one of the things I was thinking about was Rachel Carson and how long ago that book came out. Did the math, it was 60 years ago. If only men in power had listened, we would have such a different system. 60 years. Which is why a lot of us are up here today, right? That's a lot of work that we have to do to undo the damage. And I was reminded of something that a man said within our movement. He said, Jessica has a bad attitude, a big mouth and a bad attitude. And I told my supervisor, yeah, that's what you need to fight a multi-billion-dollar corporation. This was 10 years ago, and I remember being with my grandmother, and she was like, Jessica, you need to tell us why you lost your job. And I said, because this man said I had a big mouth and a bad attitude. And she said, yeah, we know that, and? Because I had been working there for 6 years. It was not like a surprise or anything, right? So that big mouth and bad attitude really comes from the women that raised me. And we are a lot of women. Majority women in my family, and very few males. But one of the things that I have learned in like my own family and my own community is that us strong women We need to bring in the young men in those conversations of solving problems in our environment, solving problems within our families, because it needs to be a norm that they're part of that conversation from the very beginning and problem solving. And I share that because my brother is not here anymore. And I know that there are a lot of young men who don't make it very far. And it was said earlier that, you know, some of us come from communities where people didn't make it very long, who were killed very young. And in my community, 19 was the age where a lot of people didn't make it past. And we need to change that. And as caretakers of our communities and the earth, we need to take care of our young men. And that's a lesson that I learned. So I'm gonna use that big mouth and bad attitude to continue working with our youth. I work with a lot of youth. Majority, again, women, but there are some young men in there, and I'm very dedicated to seeing them grow and learn more about the solutions that we need to advance in our community, because you know, without this fight, you know, other people are gonna dominate and benefit, and we're tired of that. We're gonna change that, and that's why we're here today. And so thank you so much. And in the words of my aunt who's here with me today, not bad for a young girl from East LA.
It is an absolute honor and privilege to be in the room with so many change makers like you all tonight. Thank you for allowing us to share space with you all. This first song is called Sister's Keeper. I'm a preacher's kid, so sometimes the titles come out like that.
Rage is like fire. It's warm until it's hot. It's quiet till it's not. And these days, they require all the can't stop, won't stop rage that you got. Every time we catch our breath, they try harder to choke out what we've got left. And it's a mad, mad world. If you're a woman or a girl, they don't see us, they don't hear us, till they fear us, till they fear us. And I know this world is hard on you, but come on, we got work to do. Pay her what she's worth. Say that you believe her, that it's her body, her choice, not yours. Be your sister's keeper. Rage is like fire. You can't tell how far it spread till you're in over your head. And these flames, they burn higher. Like a phoenix, wings spread, rising back from the dead. Every time we think we're safe, oh, they carve and they chip another one of our rights away. And it's a mad, mad world. If you're a woman or a girl, they don't see us, they don't hear us, till they fear us, and they better fear us. And I know this world is hard on you, but come on, we got work to do. Pay her what she's worth. Say that you believe her, that it's her body, her choice, not yours. Be your sister's keeper. Lozen and Wilma and Sojourner Truth, Ella Baker, Rosa, Sonia and Ruth. We are the warriors now, like we've always been. These extraordinary times, we were made for them. Liberty and justice aren't just birthrights for men. When our foremothers grit, bought and paid for them.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know this world is hard on you. But come on, we've got work to do. Pay her what she's worth. Say that you believe her, that it's her body, her choice, not yours. Be your sister's keeper. Be your sister's keeper. Oh. Rage is like fire. It's warm until it's hot. It's quiet till it's not.
Chris Matthews.
Thanks so much.
I'm gonna make you all sing with me.
You can mute the guitar for this one, fellas.
Repeat after me. Women gonna rise like the water. I know we're stronger than that. We're gonna do that again. Women gonna rise like the water. Women gonna rise like the water. Gonna shut oppression down. Gonna shut oppression down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter. Saying, fight for me now. Saying, fight for me now. I wrote this song after I gathered with a bunch of women and was arrested for being furious for babies being put in cages. We gathered, and our rage, our useful rage, made them listen. And I heard that chant being used, and I went to the archives and I said, who wrote this? I need to know. Who wrote this so I can honor them? And they told me that this chant had been used in movements for forever. For water, for money, for women. And I said, has it been recorded? And they said, no. And I said, let me make them sing. This is the largest group of women to sing this song with me. I am honored. I hope you'll get rowdy with me. You knocked it down, but now she's back up. This war is far from won. You underestimated, now she's liberated. Look at what she's done. She got hit, but she ain't had. She got tears, but they won't last. She's a daughter of the new revolution. She's a coming seeking retribution. Oh, she's a warrior. Oh, she don't take any prisoners. Oh, you should have thought twice before messing with a woman. Oh, 'cause she's a warrior. Her mama told her, her mama warned her, honey, there's a kind of man who'll steal your magic, make you average, try to bend you down and chain your hands. But bowing down ain't a woman's place. We work too hard to be erased. Keep your head up, show 'em what you're made of. And when in doubt, remember who you came from. Oh, she's a warrior. out twice before messing with a woman. Oh, 'cause she's a repeat after me. Women gonna rise like the water.
Women gonna rise like the water.
Gonna shut oppression down.
Gonna shut oppression down.
I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter.
I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter
saying, fight for me now.
Saying, fight for me now.
Oh, here we go.
Women gonna rise like the water. Gonna shut oppression down.
I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, fight for me. Listen to yourselves. Women gonna rise like the water. Gonna shut oppression down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, fight for me now. Women gonna rise like the water, gonna shut oppression down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, fight for me now. Women gonna rise like the water, gonna shut oppression down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, fight for me now. Just the voices, let's sing at the top of your lungs. Women gonna rise like the water, gonna shut oppression down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, fight for me now. Again.
Women gonna rise like the water, gonna shut oppression down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, fight for me now.
Chills. I've got chills. Thank you. And please join me in giving another round of applause to Chris Matthews and Heather May. Fight for me now. Well, thank you both for performing, for your powerful, powerful music. I now want to introduce you to our next awardees, and hasn't this been just amazing? Incredible. So the next awardees who will come to the stage in order are Dr. Virginia Necochea, Dr. Nikki Traylor-Knowles, Kerene Tayloe, Daphany Rose Sanchez, and Brionté McCorkle. Please welcome Dr. Virginia Necochea.
Kwali Yowali. I'm Matlakli Setekpat, Matlakli Sekali. And before I get started, I just want to recognize the energies and the ancestors that are in this space. And so just honoring the directions, and just as I look around the room, honoring all of you as I stand here before you. So just thank you for that. And I'm Dr. Virginia Necochea, and there must be something in the Maywood water, Jessica, because I'm very proud to have a big mouth and a bad attitude too. We're from the same place. And I realized today that we're from the same area, and I grew up right alongside Thermador Factory, a frontline community, and so very proud of that. And I am the first woman of color in what was the 34-year history of the New Mexico Environmental Law Center. And I've been tasked, thank you. I've been tasked by the board and the community to take what's historically been a white male-led and centered organization and just turn it on it, just completely turn it around. And when I joined, I was the first woman of color on staff in that year, and now it's going to be almost 2 years that I've been privileged to hold this position. And now when you put a person of color at that leadership position, what happens? Now there's 40% of us diversity across the staff. And I'm not done. We're not done. And so I also want to, as I stand here, I want to recognize my abuelitos, my grandparents and my parents. I come from people who work the land, and they're the ones that really planted the seeds within me of that sacred interconnection of land and water that continues to run throughout who I am. And so I'm just honored and humbled to be here in this space, sharing this moment with such beautiful and powerful women who have dedicated their lives and their energy to upholding environmental justice across so many different sectors. And as I look around and see you and I hear you, know that we see each other and we hear each other, that you give me such hope and motivation knowing that we are all connected in this battle regardless of where we are. There is a thread that runs throughout our hearts and minds, connecting each of us. And when I find myself again in those challenging moments when we're taking on the industries, suing corporations, fighting for our community, I'm going to think of every one of these powerful women that I had the privilege of meeting. And I'm going to carry you in my heart and mind as we're in those tough spaces. And so I'm eternally grateful to Rachel's Network for this opportunity you have provided to us. And I can't express how much it means to me to know that previous awardees were part of the selection committee. You know, there's been a couple of you have shared that you were part of the selection for my year, which is 21, and that has meant so much to me. It's like we're already connected. We already are. And so I want to also especially thank my beautiful daughter, Mayahuel Citlali, who joined me for this special event. And so just thank you for being here. You're our future. You're my future. We fight for you. And so thank you for that. And I also want to recognize my 3 other children who are not here. And this award is not just for me. It is really for my elders who have nurtured me as I've walked this path, and it is especially for all the community members who day after day are on the front lines of environmental harm, and they continue to dedicate their lives and energy and resources to fight for justice so that their children and families can have clean air, land, and water, which are fundamental human rights that every single one of us should be afforded without question. And so I see my time, and so again, I just want to, recognize the elders that we lost in these last couple of years. We lost 3 pillars in our community, and this award is for you, my beautiful elders. And, I'm just thinking about them, and we're gonna continue to rise fiercely in protecting and defending our sacred Mother Earth against extractive and degrading industries that continue to harm and hurt our people. And so last thing, I'll just leave us that in my mind, let us be the ancestors our descendants will thank. Thank you, Winona LaDuke. And we will be the ancestors that our descendants will thank. So thank you, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Hello. I just want to take a moment to just share gratitude. It's like, woo. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I want to start by thanking my husband, who is at home with our twins that are sick, of course. He had to take off work and be super dad, and I am so appreciative of his support and love, and always just agreeing with me when I say that I'm gonna start a nonprofit, I also really want to thank my mom. So my mom is, sorry. She's gonna see this video and be like, Nikki, why are you crying? My mom is both my hero and also my greatest challenger. And I love her so much. And she's someone that has always championed me and challenged me at the same time and taught me to be proud of my Black lineage. Sorry. So it's just really a privilege to be in a position of power and to be able to actually help more Black women. Sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. It's a really privilege to be able to bring more Black women into the fold and to be able to sit back and see them be recognized. I didn't start my nonprofit for myself. I mean, I initially was like, I'm lonely. I want to meet other Black women scientists. But then it was like, this is a lot bigger than that. And I just have so much gratitude. And so I want to thank Rachel's Network for recognizing the need and for supporting women like myself who are struggling and trying to be the voice. And I also want to recognize all the members of Black women in ecology, evolution, and marine science. Oftentimes they're forgotten and ignored, and we're about to change that. So I am honored that they trust me to represent them and to fight for them. And so thank you so much. Thank you.
That is such a fierce picture of me. Okay, thank you. All right, so the environmental justice movement has been my classroom, providing experience, wisdom, and a network of awesome advocates and strategists. I stand in their shoes, on their shoulders, and now by their side as I continue in my career. I'm grateful for the wisdom of Peggy Shepard, Vernice Miller-Travis, Dr. Beverly Wright, and countless other women in our movement who were brave, beyond imagination, in their commitment to community. They've cleared the path that I am on. I call into the room my dear friend and mentor, Cecil Corbin-Mark, who gave me my first real EJ job at We Act for Environmental Justice. Though he is no longer with us, I'm glad that I can rely on his example, wit, and spirit. To my fellow awardees, it's an honor to be among you. Our ideas are valuable. Our vision and expertise have fueled the work of so many others. This is your reminder that every time someone asks to pick your brain, what they're really trying to do is pick your pockets. We are better than free advice. We are worthy of funding and capacity. Equity, diversity, and justice in the environmental and climate sector are the words of the day. Many organizations that just last year, just last election cycle, just a few days ago, held oppositional positions are now centering themselves in our communities, using this language to repackage failed policies and false solutions. To everyone in this room, I ask you to consider who you support and how their missions, their practices may actually be moving us further away from the dire need to truly address the climate crisis. To the women leaders and staff who support and guide Rachel's network, I thank you for understanding that supporting women of color, leaders in the environmental space is not only an invaluable investment, but will deliver true success and authenticity in programs and community empowerment. I personally was able to use my Catalyst Award to take a well-needed 2-month sabbatical. It's a privilege to rest, and your support afforded me the comfort and security to give myself that time. Lastly, I recognize the extremes we are living in, a pandemic that isolated many, impacted many more, hotter days and infrequent weather patterns. We must meet these extremities with unwavering commitment to justice and action, and allowing the communities that have been the sacrifice zones most impacted by pollution to create the solutions they need. We all deserve clean air. We all deserve clean water. And I say this with all, just authentically, Black Lives Matter. When we center the experience of those who have been marginalized for decades, for generations, we lift everybody up. And regardless of what's been said on the Hill or in your state assembly, climate change is incredibly real, very real. So I thank you all for the time today. I thank you, Rachel's Network, for the support. And to the other honorees, congratulations. Thank you.
I have a watch. I know y'all gonna tell me. I have it. All right, I started the watch. Take your time. Buenas, oh, take my time? Who said that? Take my time. Buenos días todo el mundo. Yo estoy aquí enfrente de todos ustedes. ¡Woo! Yo soy negra, yo soy taína, yo soy boricua y yo soy tica. Y yo soy de esta tierra. Hi everyone. I am Black, I am taína, I'm Puerto Rican and Costa Rican, but most importantly, I'm from this land. I'm watching this watch, so don't worry, I'll stay on the 3 minutes. I want to thank you all for this time and this opportunity to share space. Yo quiero agradecer específicamente a mi abuela, mi mamá y mi papá por estar aquí. You guys know that I love my family. You may have heard me talk 1,000 times, but I barely have the opportunity to talk with having them in the room. So, try not to be emotional, but it's weird because I see my mom with her little camera and I'm like, $100, there's people in Costa Rica on that phone right now. As many as you know, I am a person of no fucks in my bag. I don't know how to say it. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. I am very grateful to be here with you all today. I'm a born and raised New Yorker, proud of the roots that I come from, proud of being Black, proud of being Indigenous, proud of being from public housing. And for me, public housing folks, yeah! You know, for me, growing up in public housing and being Puerto Rican, you're taught to be embarrassed about this. You're taught that you should not talk to people about who you are and what you're coming from and why it is that you did. But the reality is that I didn't pop out of my mom and say, Mom, I want to live in public housing. Like, it was just where we could live. It's where we can afford to be. It's where my father and my grandmother was afford to have us. There was no other choice for Black and brown folks in New York City. And growing up, some of you may heard me say earlier, I had teachers that tell me, why are you here? Why waste your time? You're just gonna have a kid and drop out. And to me, it was so jarring to see how I was 13 years old. I was in middle school. How the hell my lived environment is supposed to dictate my future? And it was the intersection of understanding how aggressively my mom and my dad were fighting to get out of public housing and this invisible pressure against them to move forward. And in 2011, my parents finally achieved the quote-unquote American dream. And I've never had this story in front of them, so I feel like I'm breaking their idealism of America, and I'm sorry in advance. And now I'm over 3 minutes, and I promise I'll take 30 more seconds and I'm done. But it was within a year of them purchasing their first home. They were the first people to leave public housing for my family. And we almost died because Hurricane Sandy happened. And we spent 8 hours on that roof. And they could tell you that I was just like, what's the point of this? Why did you buy a house? We're going to die. We're going to die. We're dead. Like, let's just go into the water because it doesn't matter. We're going to get electrocuted anyways. And it was my coping mechanism of just being myself, right? Just very like, well, this is it. This is death. This is great. Life is great. And we wound up going back to public housing for a little while, and they just got their home back last year, which is amazing, right? But the reality is, the public housing development that we lived in was a red zone area, which meant the government said Black people and Puerto Ricans live there. You can't give them money. And the only place my parents are able to buy a house was a red zone area in Staten Island. And it was shocking for me to see this information. It was infuriating to see how can something that has no control, it wasn't like my parents are like, let's go look for a house in a red zone area. No, of course not. They were like, let's go look for a house in a place that we can afford. And the only place they can afford was a place that was previously zoned for Black and brown folks. And it is scary to me that Black and brown folks think there's an American future for them, but there are policies that were developed before I was born, before they were born, before my grandma was born. They'll say, oh, the color of your skin will dictate where you live. The color of your skin will dictate what schools you go to. The color of your skin will dictate how healthy your air is, how clean your water is. How is it that we have to live next to a Superfund site, next to a highway, in these crappy apartment buildings, and no one cares about it? So, and now I am 2 minutes above, and I am so sorry, girl. I'm going to wrap it up. But the work that I do is I have the first minority woman benefit corporation. It's a for-profit company called Kinetic Communities in New York City, really transforming housing and energy, making sure that Black and brown people from the community are actually the ones doing the decision-making and owning those clean energy solutions. We don't need Tesla. We got people in our community. We have people in our ecosystem that can get the work done, and they've done it way before government and large companies existed. So thank you so much, and I'm gonna hand it over to my girl.
Alrighty, y'all, I get the enviable task of being the last person to speak. Hey, turn up, turn up. So my oh my, what a time to be alive. We are living in truly unprecedented times. Our world is basically on fire, like literally it's on fire, and it can be really tempting. It can get easy to get stuck watching the flames burn down the place that we call home. But something impressive has happened, something inspiring has happened that will fuel me through the next several decades, probably more as long as this network exists. Each and every one of us in this room decided to put on our protective gear and to wade into the burning building to protect humanity and save this planet. And I want to thank each and every one of you for doing that. I want to thank Rachel's network for putting us all together in this room, because it can get lonely. You can be in there scrapping away, fighting these flames, fighting these polluters, and feel like you're all alone. And knowing that there is a network out there of people who are doing this everywhere across the country is definitely going to give me life. It's going to give me breath. It's going to give me the inspiration to keep going. When I'm in city halls, when I'm at the state capitol, when I'm talking to the public and I'm trying to explain this climate crisis, sometimes it feels like I'm shouting in the void. But then I stood in this room and realized all of the voices that are shouting with me, and I will be able to hear them the next time I'm sitting in the Georgia State Capitol watching some hot mess go down, okay? Because it's a hot mess. and it goes down. And so I just want to appreciate all of you. I'm going to take a moment to, I felt called in the bathroom, right? I was like, oh, I'm nervous. And then the song came to me. So if you know it, let me know. I'm not an Oscar. I'm not Beyonce. You know, I'm Brionté. It's close, but not quite. But if you know it. Tonight I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Do you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. Freedom is just across the river, y'all. Let's keep fighting, okay?
I can feel it in my bones. I was like, y'all started something up here tonight. Okay. I know that, I only have 1 minute. I'm the daughter of a Baptist preacher. It has taken a lot of restraint to keep me on time tonight, all right? But I do want to invite you all to please join me in giving another round of applause and appreciation to all of our honorees. And to each and every one of our Catalyst Award recipients, what you do, what you have done, and what you have shared with us today is incredible, it's remarkable, and we know that it's just the beginning. So thank you. To you all who are here as Rachel's Network supporters, we thank you and we honor you. We hope that you can see just how far your support can go. I hope this moment is expansive and that each of you all will be inspired wherever you go when you leave here to connect with other people who are just as deeply committed as you are to doing this work and to taking it further. I'm going to take us back to the words of Rachel Carson that I introduced at the beginning. The human race is challenged more than ever before to demonstrate our mastery, not over nature, but of ourselves. What we witnessed tonight is remarkable leaders demonstrating mastery. I want to now invite Ariana Carella, Network Engagement Director at Rachel's Network, to say a few words about the award. Thank you, Ariana.
Thank you. I probably look as I feel, which is windswept by the just amazing women that I am following in the wake of tonight. And I'm going to cry, and I'm just going to let it fall because just that's what it is. But I'm Ariana Carella, and I have had the privilege, honor, and just sheer delight to be a part of the Catalyst Award, facilitating our member support to the absolutely remarkable women we celebrate tonight. Since 2019, the program has given annual awards, even though we've held these women tight for years. Brionté and Annel are like, I just can't shake Rachel's network. I just can't shake them. They did not say that, don't come for them. But that's what we're about. I mean, everyone who has been part of Rachel's network for years know this is what it's about. Being connected for the long haul. Relationships matter. Last year, we took stock of the award, where we are and where we needed to go, and we made a plan. And tonight, with jubilation, I share that plan. The Rachel's Network Catalyst Award is growing. We are not just doubling down on our support, but we are tripling down on it. Instead of a one-time prize, we will now have a 3-year engagement with unrestricted monetary support to the individuals, our awardees, leadership and well-being stipends, and general operating support grant, which actually has a great acronym, My God. Multi-year general operating dollars. My God! And we join with funders like Melanie and the Hive Fund in doing this multi-year support. So we are going to give this support to awardees every year for the next 3 years. And this is our model now. And our first action is to extend 2 more years of support to the 21 women we have honored tonight. More details are around the bend, but I hope you will join us in our steadfast commitment to the women of color we know and those who we don't know yet, but will. Nataki, those women who are nameless, we will know their names. We will know their names and we will celebrate them. And all of the women who carry on the legacy of our tenacious Rachel Carson, who just showed us that individual women can and do change the world. This would not be possible without our amazing community, our board of directors, our members, our liaisons, and advisors who put as much heart into the program as I do. I am just so grateful and overwhelmed for your love and support. There are simply too many of you to shout out tonight, which is exquisite and powerful. It's a testament to the award and Rachel's Network, but you know who you are. However, there is one person I need to embarrass, and that is Fern Shepard. Fern, from day one, you held in your bones, deep in your bones, the spirit of the award, supporting a woman of color as I did my part to fulfill our mission. So thank you. I want to wrap up and share a phrase in Tagalog, isang bagsak. Isang bagsak. It's used by Filipino activists and movement builders with lineage in the United Farm Workers movement in California in the 60s and the People Power movement opposing martial law in the Philippines in the 80s, both movements which my ancestors took part and I carry with them today. Isang bagsak translates to one fall or one down, as in one victory down, there's more to come. But also one down as in when one of us is down, we're all down. And it is our shared responsibility to each other to be in community, to be in solidarity. As advocates and protectors of our natural world, our air, our water, our food, our plants, our wildlife, you know we are never not connected. Connection is what makes everything we do and care about possible. It is what nourishes us when we feel alone and we doubt our theories of change. Connection is both our strategy and it is our purpose. It is why being together tonight just feels so healing. So please stay connected, stay close, stay in solidarity. We have a long way to go and we can only do it together. Maraming salamat at magandang gabi po. Thank you.
One more round of applause for Ariana. If you all are like me, you have laughed, you've met new friends, you've applauded, you've sang, and hopefully danced a little. You may have shed a tear. I know I did. I get a little emotional. And yet, there's more for us to do together. As we prepare to end this evening, I just want to, just restate and underscore how critically important the support of this award is. I'm fortunate I get to move money in support of organizations every day and meet leaders who are doing incredible work. But I also get to have really, really intimate conversations and hear that even as they are doing the work to raise money so they can pay their staff, or so that their programs can happen, that sometimes they are drowning. They do not feel seen. They are at home with COVID and dealing with the staff and emergencies wherever they work, but also parents that they're taking care of and children that they're caring for. And so funding these leaders directly is a critical and important part of our movement. Moving money so that they can care for themselves, so that they can have rest and respite, so that they can have training, or whatever it is that they might need to buoy them to continue to show up and do this work another day. And so, first of all, I just want to congratulate you for not doubling but tripling what you said you were going to do in support of these leaders. But I also want to remind you and remind us of something that we always say at the Hive Fund, is that the work that we do is, supporting folks who are really helping us to combat the worst outcomes of the climate crisis. And in doing this work, winning slowly is the same as losing. We lose people, we lose communities. And so $1 today is gonna mean more than $1 tomorrow, because it allows people to move the work, to move the vision, to connect, and move this work faster, to propel us. It is literally a catalyst that takes us to a future, and giving now versus giving later is helping us ensure that we all get there together. And so that's just a reminder. I know that is not like the funnest note to end on, but it's really, really important for us to understand that the context of this work is literally life and death for us. And so what I invite you all to do is to celebrate life, and to do that by leaning into this community, this life-affirming, beautiful, passionate community, and continuing to give your best to it. Thank you all very, very much. At this point, I'm gonna turn it back over to our wonderful, wonderful musicians. Nope, maybe not. Okay. Well, then I think I'm gonna invite you all for dessert and coffee before we close. And then a few short remarks, and then you'll hear from our musicians.
Okay, finally, we're at the thank yous. Thank you all for joining us tonight. What a special evening. It was wonderful to be able to share it all with all of you. So many of you, part of the inspiration for this award, part of what's making it happen, the funders. I'm going to take a moment just to close with a garland of gratitudes. So first, thank you to our awardees. All of you, those who made it here tonight and those who did not. We see you, we believe in you, we look forward to supporting you. Thank you to your partners, your family members, your colleagues, your friends who are guests. We know these women are supported by powerful communities that lift them up. Thank you to our liaisons and advisors who are with us tonight. Thank you to our members. Thank you in particular to our board of directors. You have made this community what it is. Thank you for being connected and supporting us, each other, and our mission. Thank you to all our guests tonight for sharing our commitment to women of color. We're so glad to have you in our extended community. Thank you to Melanie Allen from the Hive Fund. For your time, for your wisdom, for being a part of this amazing program, and for all that you do at the Hive Fund to support visionary environmental leaders. Thank you to the wonderful people who have made this event possible, the people, the staff from the Eaton, our AV team in the back who's making it possible for you to hear us. Our photographer, Maya. And last, I want to thank our remarkable staff for pulling off this amazing program. It took us 2 years to get to this point, but thank you. And because I get the last word. Okay, look. This award would not be possible without Ariana. It's true. It's really true. You took an idea and you turned it into a program. And that took years of work and building the support and all of the nitty-gritty, figuring out how to have an application process and who was going to read those applications. And we get over 100 applications every year. And then how to make this program more vital and supportive and grow it. That's you. So thank you. So finally, thank you to our performers, Chris Matthews and Heather May, and come on back on stage. Get your dancing shoes on. Get ready to laugh and dance and clap and sing. And thank you for joining us this evening.
Give it up for this amazing room of changemakers. When thinking about how we would close out this evening, we had 2 songs we wanted to sing for you. And this one, I'm going to sing something. There are 3 words that I say to myself when I'm doing this work that keep me going. And I'm going to give them to you. No matter what they try to say to us, we are still here. I'm still here. Say that. I'm still here. Yes, you are. All of this running and racing, I forgot that I've got 2 feet and I'm proud of where they've been. Bruised and I'm tired and burned by the fire, but I've kept moving. And in all of this running and racing, I forgot that I'm still here. Yes, I am. Yes, you are, women, yes. And I've been so busy just asking and begging. When does the good start? When will I arrive? Oh, wasting my time, rushing through life, too blind to see that I'm still alive. And in all of this running and racing, I forgot that I'm still here. Sometimes the best I can do is just wake up, open my eyes, put a brave face on, ignore the lies in my mind that say I'm better off dead than alive. And in this war against the living, I'm proud of myself for not giving in, 'cause I'm still here. Sing that. I'm still here. Keep going. I'm still waking, I'm still holding, and I'm still breathing. I'm still talking, and I'm still screaming. I'm still giving, and I'm still taking. I'm still bending, but I'm not breaking, 'cause I'm still here. Yeah, I'm still here. Come on. I'm still here. Let me hear you. I'm still here. I'm still here. How about we're still here. 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 Yes, you are. We're still here. We're still here. Yes, you are. Ooh, this room.
The late, great Congressman John Lewis said, find a way to get in the way. And the thing that so many of you are doing is just that. Wherever you can, however you can in your communities, making such a tremendous difference to so many. There's a lyric in this song that says, freedom riders or letter writers, do what you can, shine your light brighter. Thank you for being that light. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being that light.
The battle lines are drawn, and once again, somebody's saying, wait, be patient. If they knew how long it would be before all people could truly hear freedom ring, I wonder which end of that moral arc would they choose. I wonder if more would have walked in his shoes. This is what revolution looks like. You gotta get in, then stay in this fight. You've got to find a way to get in the way. Speak up, speak out every day. Freedom riders or letter writers, do what you can, just shine your light brighter. Somebody called him a saint among men, a founding father, an icon, a legend. Ordinary people with such extraordinary vision in a country so young, hard pressed on every single side, but not crushed, saying, in God, love, and justice we trust. This is what revolution looks like. You gotta get in, then stay in this fight. You've got to find a way to get in the way. Speak up, speak out every day. Freedom riders or letter writers, do what you can, just shine your light brighter. Make good trouble every chance you get. Eyes on the prize, we're not finished yet. Don't tolerate injustice, my friends. Call them out, but then call them in. If you see something that's not right, not fair, stand up and say we can do better. He said, I may not be with you when we reach the other side, so let the power of love everlasting be your guide. 'Cause this is what revolution looks like. You gotta get in, then stay in this fight. This is what revolution looks like. Get in, then stay in this fight. You've got to find a way to get in the way. Speak up, speak out every day. Make good trouble every chance you get. Make good trouble every chance you get. Make good trouble every chance you get.
Thank you Rachel's Network.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the work that you do. I'm Heather May. This is Chris
Matthews. Thank you so
Matthews.
much.